Good afternoon, everyone. This is Naishat Gadani coming to you from sunny Melbourne. And today is our fifth episode of Career Care Package Season 2. And in continuation of Career Care Package, this is 198th episode. Just to kind of tell you that we are inching closer to a double century in the next couple of weeks, as well. And as we have been talking about in this new year, we've been focusing more on habits and small incremental changes that you can do to have a real long-lasting difference in your personal, professional life. And to continue on our journey, we are absolutely delighted to have Trav Bell again. He was our guest in June, I think, because I think when I finished my quarantine after coming back to India, and I
That's
think it
right.
was the first session that we had after that quarantine experience, and we talked about bucket list and the theory behind it, the importance of it, and it was absolutely fascinating discussion. And now Trev has written a book again, which is My Bucket List Blueprint, which is 12 steps to tick it before you kick it. That's right. That's the book that me and Caroline have downloaded, and we'll be, giving some feedback and some commentary on that as well in coming weeks as well. But it's fascinating to catch up with Trev as always. And before we start the chat with Trev, let's welcome Caroline Brown, the co-host of the show.
Thanks, Nation. It's absolutely fantastic to be here. And Trav, you'll be very proud of me because on my bucket list was swimming every day in the bay. And I'm now up to number 59 consecutive.
Stop it.
So,
Really?
I know.
And there's been some cold water too. So, I mean, I think the real test is ahead of you though, isn't it?
Pretty much. As my dad says, I haven't swum until I hose myself down in the backyard in the middle of winter. So
there you go.
It'd be colder. But yeah,
Wow.
fantastic. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway,
Awesome challenge. That's an awesome challenge. So you've been doing it every single day.
Yeah, every single day.
Why?
And now just sorry.
Why would you do something silly like that?
I don't know. It was just during lockdown. It was kind of this thing of wanting to bust out, I reckon.
That's it. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Lots of people have done similar sort of crazy things. So
yeah.
But we're here because of you and your book, and would love to hear. Well, to say welcome back, but love to hear about what the book's about and what inspired you to write.
Well, I tell you what, thanks a lot for having me on. It's great to reconnect, guys. And it's I can't believe I'm about to say this, Caroline Nation, is thank you, COVID. Oh my God. Thank you, COVID, because I actually got the opportunity to finish the damn thing. It's been only 10 years in the making, and it's only this thick. That is pathetic, isn't it?
No, it's a sign of.
That's a good. Well, thank you, but I'm still beating myself up about how thin it actually is. But look, talk about a battle of procrastination and perfectionism over 10 years, finally laid to rest. So, I couldn't go into 2021 and go, oh, I'm going to finish the book this year. I'm going to publish the book this year. So I had no excuses. I wasn't on a plane. I wasn't bucket listing all around the world. So to get the bloody thing done has been a good thing, and it's been really, really well received. And I think perfect as, I guess, a light at the end of this whole lockdown COVID tunnel for a lot of people. And people have really, it's really helped them. Like the example that you've just said, I've been getting that all around the world for the last, we were published it 2 weeks before Christmas, went to Amazon bestseller, which was I'm super stoked with, and it's just been really well received. But more importantly, it hasn't been just an expensive business card, which a lot of books are. It's actually really helped people, which I've been absolutely stoked with, and not just individuals, but couples have created couples bucket list. Families have created family bucket list, and the feedback has just been absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I've started to read it, and what I really noticed about it is your voice comes through. It's like you're talking personally to
Jesus,
the reader,
that's not,
which is
that's not a
really...
good thing. That is not a good
That's
thing.
not a good thing?
No, that's scary when you really think about it. Yeah. I wish I was
Why is
like
that?
Morgan Freeman or something like that, like it had come through.
Oh, okay.
I might try and hook him up. Oh, Morgan, I think he's like $1 million a word, but I'd like to get Morgan Freeman to do my voice on maybe the audio. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic to listen to. But yeah, so tell me about, tell us about the book. Like, what's the idea? What do you want people to take out of it? What's the change?
Look, it's literally a guidebook, written like a guidebook, and I want people to absolutely abuse the thing, right? Dog ear it, get the Sharpie out, and it's got space in there for you to literally create a reverse bucket list, a future bucket list, and also another list on chapter 13, which starts with F, and it's all the stuff that you don't want to do ever. That goes on that list. I don't want to do any of that. So, for me, I wanted to climb Mount Everest, summit Mount Everest. I went to Mount Everest. I went to advanced base camp through Tibet on Mount Everest. I was sick as a dog with altitude sickness. My summit Mount Everest, which was on my future bucket list, went to the other list. I don't want to do any of that stuff, and it's firmly there for good. But what I want people to do is actually use the book for themselves. I think it's an opportunity to, and how it's all written out and laid out, it's fun, it's easy to read, it's laid out as a workbook, literally as a thing to scribble into. Better yet, when you've gone through it and you've created your future bucket list, there's a link in the back that I want you to send your bucket list to me. So I'm trying to make you accountable, trying to make every reader accountable. So I'm looking for 365 bucket lists from random people around the world, and there's some weird shit coming through too. It's amazing. It's like, oh shit, I'm stealing all these ideas off people. So, but I want people to see reading this book as an opportunity to take time out of your life, to work on your life, and to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can go and help others. And I think right now, during COVID and lockdown and the redefinition of what work and life actually is, and this use it as a recalibration tool, right, to maybe rediscover or maybe discover for the first time what brings you meaning, what gives you, purpose, and what gives you fulfillment and a sense of gratitude. We've got to get clear on that right now. And I think that's before we get busy again with the old normal, it's helping people redefine maybe a new path for themselves and redefine, like I said, a new concept that I've been talking about a lot is redefining what is work-life, what is our definition of work-life blend going forward. Not work-life balance. Work-life balance is bullshit. Work-life blend, and we're all redefining that for ourselves right now with our businesses, our careers, our jobs, etc.
So what's the blend? What do you mean by blend? What's your
we live in
definition?
there's no work-life balance. Never has been.
Yeah.
And anyone who talks about work-life balance is stuck in the 80s because it was a nice term. Have you ever done a wheel? The wheel where you 0 in the middle and 10 on the outside, and you assess every area of your life? When has that thing ever freaking rolled? Never. Yeah. It never. So it's never, and if you're growing a business, if you're passionate about your career, if you have to lose weight, you have to tone up, or you're trying to get laid, well, you're pretty obsessed, and that's okay. I'm saying, when I say getting laid, let's say being, trying to form a great relationship. That's probably a better way to say it. Anyway, the point is, it's okay to be obsessed with everything. We're just in this attention. We're in the attention arbitrage business now. What are we paying attention to, right? So it's never work-life balance. we're redefining on what that work-life blend looks like. And right now we're staying at home. We've got flexi time. People aren't going back into offices. People have embraced technology. They've innovated in their businesses like never before. We've adapted. We've failed forward. And kind of given each other reprieve. Right? We've given each other permission to stuff a few things up, and we're okay. You know, I don't know about you, but how many on this Zoom and all that, you know, like how many cat's bums have you seen over the last 6 months? I've seen too many. Right? And you know what I mean by that, don't you? When we're looking at the Brady Bunch, and you got the cat that jumps up on the lap and then turns around, hugs the owner. Guess what you're looking at is the retriever. Hello.
It's nothing funnier than that side, I reckon. Hey,
in fact, there's this the 4 years back, I think somebody shared it on Twitter yesterday. You know that there was an expert who was being interviewed on BBC, and his toddler comes, kids come in. He said that he saw the future 4 years back, and where now we see that in every Zoom call.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about changing all my profile pictures just to cat's ass, Well, that's but we've all given each other permission to stuff a few things up, haven't we? So I think this whole work-life blend concept is really what, it's very individual.
Yeah.
It's very individual. And now I live down the coast. You guys are up in Melbourne. I'm down here in Ocean Grove, right? And this is what we're in Victoria. We're in Melbourne, and the local real estate agents, they've been flat out down here because people are we've had, my mate owns Ballerine property down here in Bowen Heads. In the last month and a half, 30 properties have been sold sight unseen.
Wow.
And they're just like, I've got to get out. I don't have to go back and I don't have to do the 9 to 5 in the office anymore. I don't have to be stuck in traffic 2 hours a day during peak hour anymore.
Yeah.
And that's sad, but it's just true.
Yeah. It's been interesting, I think. Like I was thinking the other day, it's kind of become small, but joy in local things. Like for me, going for a swim every morning is like having a little holiday every morning. Like it's
totally.
a completely different experience from the rest of my day. And now it's sort of, I'm thinking, I'll take the computer laptop down and sit in the shelter there and do a bit of writing. And I think, that blend thing is exactly that. It's incorporating the joy into the main part of the day. So
I was kind of working online before it was COVID cool. So this is kind of what us digital nomads have been doing all of these years, and now everyone's just catching up.
Yeah, exactly. So the bucket list, like for people that didn't see the last session with you, what goes into a so-called good bucket list?
Well, that's where we go through my bucket list blueprint, and and that's where I've done the book. Is the blueprint goes through 12 steps of how to create a personally meaningful and holistic bucket list. So it helps you sort of go north, south, east, west in your own brain, and helps you extract and articulate this list. And there's some weird stuff that come out of people, really weird stuff that comes out of people. But here's the thing: it's not just about writing a lot of people think that travel is, what on most people's bucket list. I get that. But travel, the T in that acronym, my bucket list, is 12-letter acronym. The T is travel adventures. There's 11 other categories, right? And those 11 other categories really, in short, is M, meet a personal hero. Y, your proud achievements. B, buy that special something. U, ultimate challenges. So you're doing the swim every single day. That's definitely an ultimate challenge. I'm reading 52 books in a year.
Yeah.
Right? So a book a week. I'm reading a book a week. Mind you, they started, Nash, you love it. They started at War and Peace at the start of the year.
No, they don't.
Really small font. Now I'm down and it's getting worse and worse. I reckon by the end of the year I'll be down to Mr. Men books just to try and knock it out, because I want to succeed. So at the end of the day, ultimate challenges. C, conquer a fear. K, kind acts for others. E, express yourself. T, take lessons. L, leave a legacy. I, idiotic stuff. S, satisfy curiosity. And T is the travel adventure. So a lot of people have gone, oh, but how are you doing your bucket list during COVID and all that sort of thing? Well, we've got the people have started new hobbies, new habits. They've, started new courses. I know people have started coding, creating apps, creating new websites, creating podcasts, learning new languages, starting musical instruments. I bought for getting the book out. I gave myself a reward, and that is at 47. I bought myself some DJ decks, like a DJ 4-channel mixer. I'm not about to, headline Tomorrowland or Burning Man or anything just yet. But I can't play a musical instrument to save myself. So I can mix music though, and I love it, and it's complete flow state for me. And so, it's things like this it's awakened people to what we can do during COVID versus what we can't do. Right? But what it does is give people a real tangible, I say a bucket list is a tangible life plan, where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. So this really does bring home this work to live principle, and what I call work-life blend, right? So, and if people, and you guys know this better than anyone, our businesses, our jobs, our careers, you pretty much do two things, right? And that is to when optimized, it spits out the cash flow and also the time flow to allow us to do the shit that we want to do in life. Double bonus if you actually love what you do and it's hitting your values and you're of service to the community and other people and you're doing good out there. I think that's the holy grail, right?
Absolutely.
So it's helping people sort of compartmentalize their businesses and get on with it. It gives them a massive sense of why am I doing this in the first place? Why go and bust? Why get busy? Why make? It gives people a reason to make decisions quicker about their business, scale and leverage. To hire other people, to get a VA, whatever it is. Like getting people to get off the fence in terms of their own decisions and get on with life. Stop living by default, living by design. Stop just existing and start living. And at the end of the day, people have really embraced it, which has been cool. The thing is, though, it's not about just a bucket list. It's really about how a person reverse engineers every aspect of their life in order to make this stuff come to fruition. It's really about the growth of the person on the journey towards these self-imposed destinations, right? But more importantly, I want people to understand this, it's about the person that exists on the other side. And that's the person that you don't know yet. And that's called our potential. And when we experience more of our own potential, it puts a smile on our face.
Yeah. It's funny because watching, that was a quote that struck me from your TEDx talk, and that was in your book as well. It's a really memorable reason to get moving on your bucket list. But is it better to start small or how do you make sure that I know there's, you write it down, but how do you make sure you actually do it?
You know what, you write it down and just wait until you're nearly about to die, or you wait until you actually get the cancer diagnosis and then you start taking action. That makes way more. I mean, they even did a movie around that. I'm being sarcastic. No, you know what? You got to use. Here's the real secret to it. Remember these things?
Ah, yes.
That's for all the millennials and Gen Ys watching. That's what we used to call that's what we call a pen. Now, this stuff, it's called paper. When this goes onto this, it writes. I know, crazy analog concept, I know. But if you actually just write goals down, let alone bucket list items, you've got a 42% more likelihood of them actually manifesting, of actually coming to fruition. Crazy.
Yeah.
So you've got to get this stuff out of your head, because and there's actually studies that suggest that if you actually write stuff down old school versus even typing into a phone or a Google Doc or whatever, it's more of a consciousness exercise.
Yeah.
Right? So, but what's easy to do is easy not to do, right?
Yeah.
That's why, I don't need to write a bucket list. Well, yeah, how are you going on yours?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, I'll get around to it. Oh, yeah, when? It's just so, busy being busy. So when are you going to separate you've got to separate your daily to-do list from your bucket list, take time out, to do this. So the deal is write some stuff down to answer your question. Once written down, that's what the book's really good as a guide, go and do the easiest thing first.
Yep.
Go and do the simplest thing that doesn't cost you a lot of time, a lot of money. Go do it. And that'll give you the sense of achievement and the motivation and momentum to smash through the bigger ones. And it's about choosing happiness. And getting those early wins is what it's all about. And where bucket list has got a negative connotation about it is because everyone thinks it's about travel, and travel costs a lot of time and money. And I'm going to do it when I'm, 65 years old. So a lot of people, unfortunately, are sacrificing their happiness now to enjoy later. And we sold this idea. Superannuation, 401k. We're sold this idea of retirement. But you and I both know that retirement never comes for a lot of people. Or they work their bloody guts out. They sell, exit their business. They, or they work their career. And they've 1, 2, maybe 10 good years, and then it's over. That makes me sad. And we've all got examples around us of people who've gone through life like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you started to talk about writing different lists, Trev, I did a productivity training program, which is quite well renowned, which is called Mission Control. And in that, the first exercise that we are asked to do is to write everything that we want to get it done.
Yeah.
First of all, just bloody empty the whole mind and whole clutter onto that, and then also it also talks about segregating into lists. And one list says that I will never ever going to do this, but it is out of my head, so that I know that I can always reach out to that if I feel now that I'm able to tick off on that or do that. But if I'm not writing it, if I'm not really articulating it and putting it anywhere, it stays in the head, it stays deep buried somewhere, and it's like living. It's like staying there is much. It's kind of not productive as if it stays outside, because you get less clutter and you are more focused on the other bits as well.
Yeah, dude. Look, straight up, Nash, is. By writing it down, you're actually typing it into your Google machine, and therefore the search terms, the how, will show up as a result. That's what NLP teaches us. That's what our reticular activating system, right? You type into Google, write down a bucket list item. I want to go to Mount Everest base camp. I bet that the universe will provide. And you'll start having conversations with people who've been there. People, you'll start looking at blogs, looking at stuff online. You'll start picking up on conversations. You'll pick stuff up in the media. That universe will start to provide. It's, when the why is strong enough, the how will work itself out. But it's our universe that then, and our reticular activating system, that's basically what it is. What we're paying attention to, our internal Google machine, is now, you've typed it in. It's now a search term. It's in our history. It's in our browsing history now. Right? But you can't just think it. You've got to write it. Just call bullshit on it, people. But go write some stuff, and you'll see how it actually, it actually comes to fruition. But what's easy to do is easy not to do.
Not to do. You're about to say something, Nate?
Agree on that one. No, what I do, Trev, I'm still in old school. I don't write my to-do list unless there are meetings and everything. That's on the calendar. But every morning I'll pick up my book and write down the stuff that I want to get it done today. What are the things? And it carries forward until that is done. I still continue to do it. And the joy of finishing that putting the line through that, it's amazing. It's amazing. Even though that's a laundry that I need to do. But when I write that down and I script that I've done the laundry, Wow, I feel like, really, really see that, and that's very, very, crucial as well. But I think one of the things that your book can do, which you highlighted in the first, part, is that I think a lot of people have questioned in last 1 year what my work, what my life, and I really like that analogy of blend as well rather than balance, because we somehow that work and life has completely become one. There is no more
100%.
segregation now, which we used to enjoy. It's no longer, it won't be there. But I like that idea of blend. How much do I want to have work? How much do I want to have life? And I can make the cocktail that I want to make. And I think this book can really help people really analyze and put that thinking in some structure. And that's what I'm kind of, is that what
Yeah.
what you find people are doing?
Look, it's doing. Quite commonly I hear people saying, "Thank you for giving me permission to dream again." Like, dude, what happened?
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to place your focus on the things that actually light you up. Like, I hate using the word selfish, but this is a self-leadership lesson, but be self-centered. It's okay. You have my blessing, right? But do it for you. Don't just do it for yourself, but do it so that you can provide an even better example to your kids. They want you to be a bucket lister, even though you're sacrificing maybe for your kids, but they want you to be happy. They want you to lead a fulfilled life with meaning and purpose, and always come home and be, rich with experiences and stories. And my kids want to be like dad. They want to follow in mum's footsteps, because they're not bitching and complaining about everything that's going on in life and what they don't have. They're focusing on what makes them happy, what lights them up. I don't know about you, but I want to do, I want that person to be a parent. I want that person to be my parent. I want to do business with that sort of person. I want to do, I want to be in a relationship with that kind of person. You know what I mean? I want to be the business partner of that sort of person. And that's how it goes. So this is an opportunity for you to concentrate. I think reading the book is an opportunity for people to pay attention, in a structured fashion, pay attention to the things that really do, in our essence, that really light us up and really bring us happiness and fulfillment. So that's what it's been doing for people and that's what we trade on a day-to-day basis. Stealing from Gary Vee, we're in the attention arbitrage or attention trading business now. Question is, what are you paying attention to?
It's an interesting thing, and I think, you must have inspired so many people around the world by doing something, by putting yourself out there in whatever way. You're bringing people to you, like-minded individuals as well, that go, wow, that's really inspiring. I think I could do that, or I want to do something different, in my life around that. You must have found that time and time and time and time again with the work that you do, Trav.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's but paying it forward to the individual is really what I'm all about. Like, of course, you being your authentic and vulnerable self, and speaking up on stage is no scarier concept. And the good speakers are the most vulnerable speakers. The best thought leaders are the people that go there. And the more vulnerable, and I put another way, I don't know if we can swear here on LinkedIn, but the sooner you build your I don't give a fuck muscle, the better. Straight up.
Yeah.
Not in an arrogant way, but just like whatever happens, happens. So, and I think public speaking is such a good personal development platform to be able to build that muscle really fucking quick. And authoring a book and putting your own stories out there, and like attracts like. So sure, you might get some haters, but who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? and I look at, I commonly reference the work by Bronnie Ware, who wrote, this isn't by the way, this isn't just like a Zoom background, green screen deal. There's actual books in that.
We're waiting for the cat thumb to pop out. So
yeah. So that's a Zoom background. Naisha's got an actual Zoom background, so he's just in front of a wall.
Oh, come on, man! I give you a compliment. That's the books.
See that? You can't even pull a book out because it's fake. So I did, and I pulled a book out of my fake backdrop. I haven't read any of them, but that's beside the point. It makes me look smart. The point being, this book is amazing. The top 5 regrets of the dying. We've all heard it before. Now, this is Bronnie Ware, who wrote an amazing blog. She's a palliative care nurse in nursing homes, and she asked them, for a blog at the time, what are your top 5 regrets? And then that blog became a best-selling book, and here it is. The number 1 regret of the dying is, I wish I lived a life true to myself, not what others expected of me. So a lot of us go through life trying to please others, and this has become an epidemic called the loneliness epidemic, right? Google it, it's a real thing. I was about to do a talk at RMIT to the PhD grads, about 700 students and staff just before COVID in March last year. And they wanted me to speak about this loneliness epidemic. Like we know what a pandemic is, we're pretty clear on that, but this is hot on its heels in terms of it being an epidemic. Now, what it is literally the adverse effect of social media, right? And how damaging the damaging effect that it's actually having on us and our psychology, leading to things like depression, anxiety, the overprescription of antidepressants, suicides, youth suicides, etc., etc. And that's a really serious topic, because we're all, aren't we? We're in this world now where we're all comparing our behind-the-scenes footage with someone else's highlights reel. And it has a big effect on us.
Yeah.
The sooner, going back to the sooner you build up that muscle, that I don't give a fuck muscle, the better. So how can you put yourself into situations that expose you a little bit, little 1%ers, just like in game of footy, like little 1%ers, so putting yourself out there outside your comfort zone, not staying safe, maybe be a little bit more vulnerable today, maybe a little bit more out there today, a little bit more risque, taking on a little bit more risk. Where can you expand yourself on a day-to-day basis? That's the key. It's not about just doing one big thing that's the big stunt to put you right out there, like putting a book out there or doing a talk or whatever it is. But how can you build up that resilience? How can you build up that muscle? And I think that's in everyone's, and that's what the world wants, right? That vulnerability. And that has a huge effect, a massive effect. So this is about you going after what's important to you, putting yourself out there and doing things that break character. Maybe in the movie of your life, you break character, which may upset a few people, but it is what it is.
Yeah. What's been on your list that's really stretched you, that you felt has been built the most character for you?
I was a life drawing model for an art class.
That was the worst one.
It was one of the most poignant moments of my life. So no shit, I don't know why I did it, but hey, bucket list. I used to do things, people used to dare the bucket list guy to do things. I'd go, oh yeah, because my ego. Anyway, that got me in trouble. So yeah, fun fact, I used to live in Seddon before moving down back to Ocean Grove, where I grew up here. And so so I did it. They even paid me $50 to do it, so it felt like a cheap haul. So I left with $50 in my hand. I'm like, oh Jesus!
How is $50 you earned?
Hey, as I say in the classic, $20 is $20, right? So I rock up. They give you a robe. You undress. You put the robe on. You stand in front of people. Take the robe off, and everyone draws your bits. So I know Naisha's actually got his pen out right now because he's thinking,
what's the address?
So
I want to teach you, baby.
Yeah. So Naisha, I know you. So nice. So mate, I've got a couple of tips for you if you're going to do it. Number one, seriously, don't do it. Don't do it in the middle of winter. True. Number two, don't do it in the art studio that's next to the coffee shop that you get coffee at every single morning in your local suburb, where the gay barista, who just so happens to love art too, serves you a coffee every morning. Let's just say from then on, I got a little bit more sugar, if you know what I mean.
A number one fan.
And third fun fact is make sure you're the only person doing it on the night. True story. Yeah. I'm there, got 10, 12 people behind easels drawing me. They just started. I'm awkwardly standing, I don't know, in a like a deep lunge. I don't know what I was doing. But at the end of the day, this chick comes in, right? A girl comes in, a younger, hotter girl walks in the room. I'm like, cool, take a seat. I've got this. Jump behind an easel. Nah, she undresses, stands right next to me. Oh, I'm fucked here.
That's hilarious.
One part of my brain, don't look. So, other half, shut up, other half, look. I'll just put it this way. I've done a lot of NLP. I've done a lot of positive psychology, a Carnegie principle, law of attraction, life coaching, all that psychology stuff. Let's just say I had to channel all of that in that moment to quote unquote talk it down, if you know what I mean. It was the hardest, pun intended, 20 minutes of my life.
And unless obviously, when a public display of affection was a part of your bucket list, then you would be in trouble, because you still have to honor that bucket list to shut up the other side of the brain. But I agree with you on that, and I'll probably exchange the some details from you and take some tips before. I think anyway, winter's coming, so I'll probably think about going in spring or that. But I think what it demonstrates is that you're also walking the talk. You're equally a participant in this.
No, that was a stupid
stupid
thing that I should not have done. That was not No. Caroline asked me what are the things that you've done that have been really poignant, moments in my bucket list life, and that was a really bad example. I can say, hey, going to Mount Everest and summiting Mount Kilimanjaro with my dad. Cool. Running, entering an Ironman triathlon when I've never done any triathlons before in my life. I entered it, and then a year later I did it. I could say doing a game drive with my mum and dad in the car in Kruger National Park. I could say that. I could say the beautiful sunrise when I come over the top of, seeing the sunrise come over Africa when you're on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, the first one up there to see that sunrise. I could talk about, going to the children's orphanage in Cambodia, 250 kids, and being a not so small elf helping out Santa Claus are all these 250 HIV orphans. I could talk about all that. I could talk about going to Burning Man, or, with my best mate who's passed away from cancer. I could talk about writing the book. I could talk about surfing exotic waves. But no, I went for the nude modelling thing.
With people putting stuff on their bucket list and, walking kind of zombie-like through life, what are your tips for getting things on your bucket list? Do we all have great ideas, or is there a way, if you're really feeling stuck about what to put on, what's your tip for that?
Go and try and catch cancer, or go and hang out with someone who's just been diagnosed.
Yeah, okay. Pretty crystallised.
Go and have a conversation with them, because it hasn't hit you yet.
Yeah.
So the great thing about my work is, unfortunately, I get to have a lot of conversations about death.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the pin-up boy for the funeral industry. I've done so many funeral gigs, like literally not at funerals, but to funeral professionals over the last few years. It's been a big. Hang on, what am I doing? I'm carving out a bit of a niche there for myself. But we only act. Human beings only act when there's pain.
Yep.
Don't we? I was in the personal fitness training industry for over 20 years, and we had a chain of personal training studios around Australia, tens of thousands of clients, 2 million plus personal training sessions over that time. And people only walk into your gyms for a handful of reasons. And that is, summer's coming, and I've just tried on those clothes, and I have to do the snake thing on the bed to just try and zip up the zip, or I've just climbed the flight of stairs and I've clutched my heart and I'm breathing like heavier than I've ever breathed before, or I went out on the weekend with my kids and I had to have a sleep afterwards. I had no energy. I'm lonely. I haven't had a partner for years. I haven't had sex for years, and my self-esteem is taking a hit. And I know this is, so I've just come out of a messy divorce, and I want to get me back. Or I've just had a guy in a white coat or a girl in a white coat threatened to open up my chest because of what I've just experienced. And they say, and they actually said, look, if you don't do this, you're going to die. And then I thought about my family, and that's why they walk into the gym. So unfortunately, it's pain that gets us moving, but a good coach, a good mentor, a good teacher will get them to focus on something other than the pain to move them forward and to continue the journey. So I know that you came in for a bad heart, but how about we build a foundation? Have you thought about doing a 5K run? Oh, no, I'm not a runner, Trav. I know. You've led yourself to believe that your whole life because of maybe phys ed when you're in high school and primary school. But how about you unbelieve that story for a moment and just fucking enter? Let's break character. Let's go towards something positive. I've got too many examples like that. So it's unfortunately it's pain that motivates us, but it's pleasure and it's our vision for ourselves that will pull us toward, to pull us out of where we were.
Yeah.
So the bucket list, there's two types of goals, right? There's achievement goals and also habit goals. So achievement goals is what bucket list items. There's an end point, which is really important to establish with the person as soon as. And then we've got habit goals, which is like, drink 3 liters of water a day is a habit goal, but that habit goal might be en route to an achievement goal. But yeah, so maybe this was the conversation that they needed to hear. this conversation they needed to hear to wake them up. But, it's too presumptuous for me to go out in there and say, oh, you must, you have to, you need to, you should live your life this way. People would be like, you don't know me, mate. You don't know my situation. So, all right, cool. I'm not doing that. I'm not presupposing that at all. But what will it be? Unfortunately, up until this point, all I've got to reference is that damn movie, the bucket list movie, which is about two blokes who got given a cancer diagnosis, and that was enough pain for them to get off their ass and go and live their bucket list. Now, all I'm doing is trying to wake people up before they get given the use-by date.
Makes sense.
Excellent. Now that's a sensational message. To finish another amazing episode with you. Trav, and more power to the work that you do. I don't. I think it just your voice and your genuine interest comes out very loud and clear as well. And I'll put the link to Trav's book on the LinkedIn chat. So please go ahead, buy the book. And we will also be sharing what me and Caroline are up to also when we start to put in the lists, into that book as well. So we'll keep you posted, Trav, on our bucket lists as well.
Well, I need 365 bucket lists. So Caroline Nash, I'm expecting to be sent yours.
All right, done.
Hashtag next book.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It will. But thanks for coming along and just being very generous with your time, Trav. Yes, Caroline, for next week.
I just wanted to acknowledge Shubi, who's been putting a lot of comments in the comments section. Thanks for joining in and participating, Shubi. She said, great question, shows that you're a real person. It's very true that you want to spend your energy wisely on what drives you. I agree. So thanks for your support, and there's some great ideas there as well. So next week we've got Sandy coming on the show, and we haven't decided a topic, but Sandy is a great storyteller and talks about the power of stories to connect and communicate and shape lives as well. So we're going to be talking to her. She's had a couple of successful businesses and an amazingly successful charity as well. So we'll be talking to her about what her success habit is and the thing that she stands by. And Trav, thanks so much for joining us. It's always inspirational to have you on the show, and hopefully we can get you on again and keep the movement going.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks heaps.
All right, guys. See you. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you on next Friday, 12 p.m. Bye for now.